Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. Well, I won't say I get these every day, but I give them every fucking week. You can't see the cheers on this, and I cut some of his personal shit out because none of your fucking business that. But I mean, this is just a portion of the tears. He got fucked. He has nothing now. They took your little veterinarian and they pissed in your face. I get so fucking pissed off, as you can tell by my voice, how this continues to happen to you kids. And it happens to smart ones, not just the fucking dumb ones. You got to be, I don't want you to be careful, because then when you're careful, you don't pull the trigger. But I don't want you to be stupid. And I told the last seminar, one of you kids a few weeks ago was walking in London by Starbucks, and he sees his chairman, his CEO and CFO sitting in Starbucks having whatever, I don't know what the fuck they're having, a coffee, whatever you do in Starbucks. Now, you won't even believe what happened. I know how I would have handled that myself, but you're not me, right? So, he just kept walking with his tail between his legs by Starbucks and just left him there.
He didn't go?
No! Now, I thought that was the worst thing I had heard in a long time, but no, this is worse. And when they want to set up the company, and they've got all these reasons, well, we'll set it up now. You know, all that work that, you know how I tell you, you don't have a meeting until you have something to talk about. And then you do the incorporation or whatever you're setting up at that time. And they've got all kind of reasons why that you should have the meeting. And there are legitimate reasons, but they can all be put off to the end. The end being just before you have that board meeting or at that board meeting, and then you're discussing, whether you're going to pursue these acquisition candidates, whether you're going to be a subchapter S, a C Corp, or a limited liability company, a limited liability partnership, or in Germany, a GmbH, whatever. You discuss all that shit. You have already given that information to your accountants and lawyers, so they've all scoped it out. They know from a tax point of view what's better for you. Are you going to stay? Are you going to be a Delaware corporation? And in America, Delaware is got the most case study favorable to the companies in litigation, whereas some of the other states that you can incorporate in, California, you're fucked. I might you just might as well give the money away. And there's other states, but other states that are more company friendly are Nevada. But Nevada's got a bad stigma, not to me anymore, but from the old days, from the gangster days. And Wyoming is the new, more or less, Delaware. And but at the very least, you want to be in a friendly state like Texas, Florida, where it's a right-to-work state where you can fire anybody any fucking time you want. Just throw them in the fucking street. But when your chairman or your CEO, and even sometimes your CFO says, well, I know a guy. Forget about it. But you're in a hurry to get your board together. You're in a hurry to make your acquisition. Just like Gerard was saying, he was in a hurry to close a deal. And no matter one bad pick that on the board, your dream team, that you allow to take even semi-control, does away with all the positive shit that you did. In this particular case, I'm going to give it to you to read. The CFO and the chairman fucked him. Because they set up a company unbeknownst to him and they issued shares. Actually sounds like a New Jersey deal, really. But I mean, it's not a New Jersey deal, okay? Now, how did that happen? Because either asleep, naive, or I don't know exactly, a combination thereof. And now in this particular case, the kid was raised to be vindictive. So he just inherited some money. So he's got money to fight. Because that's why you don't do it. Because you don't have money to fight. Because those three guys in the Starbucks, fuck you, kid. What are you going to do? As they piss on your leg. Unless you're willing to fight, talk's cheap. Unless you're ready to go to a war. So, they listen to the kid. He didn't walk in, but they listened to the kid a few seconds and fuck off, kid. And in this particular case, he went to the rest of the board members, and he thinks, at least he says, the board members were supportive of him, he went to the bank. See, you can always fuck these deals up. He went to the bank and told the bank what happened. The bank pulled the plug on them. But the deal's dead now. Nobody's got the deal now. So everybody's fucked. All you have to do, listen to YouTube fucking meatheads, cunts, vaginas. All you got to do when they fight, go to the bank. Write a letter. They're fucked. The deal's fucked, but then you're fucked too. But if you're going to be fucked, you might as well fuck everybody. I mean, not just me. I mean, there's going to be blood in the fucking street. But most of the kids don't do it. Maybe 1 out of 10 fights. Maybe, no, not even 1 out of 10. 1 out of 50 fights. And those of you that have been through litigation, and those of you that have been through a divorce, which is, I've never seen a nice, well, I've seen a couple of nice, clean divorces, but for the most part, they're not. You don't do it. But more importantly, not just because you're afraid of the unknown of litigation. Even if you follow those 28 rules that you get 28 rules of litigation I wrote that more or less made me infamous in the world of litigation, you got to fight. And it's not a matter, remember I said it, you don't get letters from me, you get lawsuits. You don't get threatening letters from lawyers. Fuck that. You get lawsuits. And you want to sue them first, so it's your venue. So, I mean, the guy that sues is the plaintiff, not always wins, but has two shots at the judge and or the jury. Closing argument, then the defendant has a closing argument, and then you have closing argument again. And a lot of juries, not so many judges, because they're ostensibly smarter, a lot of juries, they believe the last person they heard, which is the plaintiff, which is you if you're suing them. But I mean, it's, last night you saw Too Big to Fail? No. Oh, Barbarians at the Gate, excuse me. And, but that's how I want you to think. Even the expanded goals of the kids in here, is too small. They're too small. You got to think bigger. You got to think bigger. And when I was thinking about the 4 cases that we've presented so far, and I'm not saying to be like me, but you guys ask fucking questions I haven't asked in 50 years of doing deals. 50 fucking years. You worry about shit that, fuck, I'm sitting up here, fuck, I would have never thought of that. Remember what Josh says in his exit interview. 95% of the things I worried about the first 3 years never happened. Just like Peña said. 95% of the things I worried about never fucking happened. Just like the old man said. And one of the reasons, although we get a guy that does a deal in 73 days and a guy that does it in 81 days, and we've got some other guys doing it in 100 days now, because since we've raised the benchmark. And guess what? People are performing. But you just, and once you do a deal or so, and in theory, your board should know this. You know what's really important, what's not really important. Because in theory, these guys and gals that are on these boards, these dream teams, have done deals. That's why the more deals, the better. The more billions that they've been involved in the transactions, the better. Because you can't do $10 billion worth of deals, unless it's one deal. I mean, $10 billion worth of deals, and not have gone over these speed bumps that you think are fucking Mount Everest, that they're not. and I've already said this, and a couple of you this applies to, cross-collateralization is bad. There's no way back. When you cross-collateralize these fucking things, you're fucked until you exit. Because as I told one of the groups yesterday, as soon as you sell one property, well, how are you going to replace that collateral? So, although it's easier to get deals done because, they've got collateral and you can almost just do it on the phone. In fact, we have kids like Marcus Bauer that are just doing them on the phone. They're not, because the bank got so many properties, that they don't care. Barbarians at the gate, other than, not barbarian, I'll give you this at the break. We're going to talk to Jason at 10 today. He just sent me an email update where he'll talk about it when he's online about how he's quadrupled. He's quadrupled his IT business. And I believe, and the IT business had a base because he already had it. And his radiology practice, he's doing he initially started just doing the radiology roll-up. And then he said, this shit can work for my IT business. And so then he moved over to his IT business and hired a CEO, a professional CEO, and the business has exploded. And so he's really doing well. But we'll talk to him at 10. Any questions on this thing you saw last night? Comments? Yes, sir.
Take care of the people who take care of you, they'll fuck you.
Even when you take care of them, they may fuck you. But it's a lot less likely when you take care of them. It's a whole hell of a lot less likely. And right now, currently, some of the up-and-coming potential stars are being cheap with the equity they give out. And giving somebody 1/12 of a percent a month for 12 months, so at the end of 12 months you got 1%, I'd spit in their face. But they think, see, it's monopoly money. It's just like this new monopoly game for millennials where they don't have property and they're living at home and they don't have cars. This is a real game. Okay? It's the money that you're spending. Not that you should be frivolous with it. The money that you're spending is like this money. It's not worth shit. You got to remember that. In my deal, my cost basis was $820. So 4 zeros, then point, then 4 zeros, then 82 was my cost basis per share. So it was next to nothing, right? The directors, the dream team, their cost basis was 0 because they got it for 0. And all of a sudden, for people, and not just this group, but for people that essentially don't have any money, all of a sudden you're fucking Rockefeller the way you want to be stingy with the money. That's not your money. That's Allah's money or somebody's money, but it's certainly not your money. What the fuck did you do to earn it other than con some 7 or 8 fucking old people? I mean, you did nothing. You should have been wearing a mask with a fucking gun. And all of a sudden now you're going to get stingy with it. If you've got more than 60%, you did something wrong. And your team is less likely to stay with you. Because there's only so much shit they put up for 1 or 2%. Believe me. And knowing you, not just this group, and knowing the groups that have come through the last few years, I don't know how you ever get any boards. If they knew you like I knew you, they'd laugh at you. But the biggest benefit you have is you've gotten a lot more of the nuances than the meatheads on YouTube. Because there are secret sauces, tips, shortcuts Bullshit. There are no tips or shortcuts. Hard work, you lazy cunts. But I got to emphasize, and all of you are not in the very beginning, so you've gone down the road towards the goal line somewhat, and some of you have already done deals. But you have to have no correspondence amongst the board. No meeting, no talking, no correspondence unless you're copied on it. And there are no secrets. There's always a rat on a board, a whistleblowing snitch. In all these years, I've never seen a board that didn't have a fucking snitch rat that will cop out, to save themselves. They'll tell you what's going on. But you got to be, otherwise you're pissing in the wind. You're doing this for nothing. And I'm selfish because your numbers, all I see is dollar signs, pound signs, euro signs. That's all I see. I don't see color, race, nothing. I just see those signs. Okay? And the faster you can get up on that wall, the better I like it. But I'm still old enough to stand up here, or healthy enough, not old enough, healthy enough to stand up here. And we're going to spend some time about some secret sauce about dealing with the boards that I'm not giving YouTube. Fuck you, you cunts. But it aggravates the shit out of me. Maybe if I didn't mention it at all, you'd get fucked less by your board. Didn't mention it at all. Because I've sure gone the other way and beating my chest. But see, deep inside, you still want to be liked by your board. No matter what the fuck you say. Down deep inside, you want to fit in because ostensibly they've been more successful than you. Down deep inside, that's your Achilles heel. Because all things being equal in life, all things aren't equal, but all things being equal, you'd rather have harmony. I can't even say that word without choking. We'd rather have harmony on the board. I've never seen a harmonious board that was successful. Never in 50 years. And you would rather play tennis with them, or maybe you guys played fucking badminton or some shit. That was supposed to be a derogatory comment, not for the world-class badminton players that we might have watching, because it's a tough sport. But the way these guys play badminton, like this. And if you remember, the Zoom calls, or not Zoom calls, the webinars that we had during the regular seminar, every person, save one or two, said, as soon as I got they called it savage. As soon as I got tough, and they use these words, my results got better. Well, I don't have a savage mentee. I haven't had a savage mentee, maybe one in 25 years. So what they consider savage is not savage. But compared to their normal personality, they think they're fucking Al Capone or something. They think it's the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago. But you got to be careful. And many of you are getting to the point, you're down near the goal line. And that's when the fucking happens. As soon as they can smell the money, taste it, feel it, well, fuck, it looks like it's going to happen. We better get rid of this fucking punk. And that's how they think. Not everybody, but a lot of them. A lot of them. And he mentions them, lest you go on LinkedIn and try to recruit them. He actually mentions them, which I was kind of surprised that he would, but because most of you, because what he's doing would be considered vindictive, you won't do that. You won't do that. Okay, YouTube, later.